TC Spiritual Shepherd. Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be getting into sexual transmutation. This is also known as Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. You can check out the podcast below. There's already a link there for you. But this is ultimately getting into, Think and Grow Rich. Well, in Think and Grow Rich, I believe there was not one actual chapter that talked about money. Isn't that crazy? But it's called Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich. See, and you have to start to think of the etymology of it and not always just think in such financial and physiological and materialistic terms. Think rich, grow rich. Think and grow rich. So to grow in an enriching part of your life, to think enriching, to think an enrichment. What is enrichment? To enrich one's mind. Enrichment. Enrich, so your inner rich mind. It's really easy. It's not hard to break down. Once you understand what mint means, you can understand or overstand a lot of cultivation of words. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Check out Napoleon Hill. Now, one big thing about sexual transmutation is what? Turning lead into gold. We've kind of already gotten to the alchemization of everything. I just did that alchemization thing, so I'm not going to get into too much of that. You guys can check that into alchemy or preserving the sacred secretion or kundalini or the philosopher's stone. You can check out a multitude of things. You can check out the 7 divine metals. You can check out the 7 divine planets. You can check out the 7 divine colors. You can check out all this type of stuff. Okay, that's by all means. Okay, you guys have already seen a multitude of, as you go through more and more of my course, which is substantially just like so cheap for people, because it's not about that. It's about making this available. The only thing I'm having people pay for is the time that it took me to make it, and so like that's really all it is. But the information's practically free. It's just people aren't ready to receive until they're ready to receive. See, and the thing is that a lot of things in this course, okay, just to give you guys a little overview, is people will see it month 1, and then they'll see it 2 years later, okay? Then they'll see it a year later, then they'll see it 7 months later, then they'll see it 5 years later. It's too sporadic. But when you see it all right next to each other, you're like, whoa, like that's a book. Like that's a straight, like I get it. It's way easier. It's way easier to comprehend. This is my life's purpose. So, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, sexual transmutation. So it's about turning. So let's talk about one specific aspect of this. So you've already lived a portion of your life. Okay, so you have this like life in your. You have memories and a past and all this type of stuff. Okay, so that is the accumulation of who you thought you were. Yeah, I said that right. Who you thought you were. Okay, and maybe even who you think you might be. Okay, or part of who you think you are now is still connected to somewhat what you think you thought you were. Okay, so what you have to start to see is that you have to start to see that person doesn't exist and the future person doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is right now. Those are the things that you're doing now is just based on past, like experiences and memories. Okay. Now, I want you guys to start to see that there was some negativity and positivity in that past, which is why part of you in the now is like, oh, I'll use the positive stuff of the past and I'll continuously do that now. But the negative stuff, I'll try to avoid that, or I'll try to do something other than just that thing in the now. Okay, so there's that cultivation of it too. So you can cultivate that. That's fine, by all means, okay? Then in the future, you're going to be like, well, if I continuously do this stuff now because it helped in the past, maybe that'll help me in the future too. So there's those types of mentalities. Everything's a vibration. Now, this is ultimately what I do. If you said any negative words, past words, if you said any past words or future words or any type of negative words, here's a big thing. If you've done that, this is your transmutation time. This is your alchemization time. This is your turning your Saturn into God, your lead into gold. Okay, so what does this mean? This means like when you used to say, like, I'll give you an example a little bit later, but when you used to say bad stuff, now you can just be like, oh, I'll shed light on that subject. That's not bad at all. Actually, I'm light. I'm not a shadow. I'm not this type of thing. So, for example, when I was in fourth grade, I remember asking the sixth grader out, and I was just like, yo, like, she was like the hottest girl in school, da 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 da. And I was just like, all right, and I was also in fourth grade, so just give me a break. But like, I asked her out, and I kept asking her out. She said no. And maybe I thought, oh, maybe that plays on my worth or my self-worth or da-da-da-da. But then I started reframing it years later. And that reframe was, holy shit. I'm literally so brave. I'm so courageous. Like, I can take such action. Like, I can literally make shit happen. Even with her saying no. Funny thing is, years later, like, just life changed. Like, she's had a kid and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, damn, like, that's crazy. Like, I'm good, like, super interesting. It's just very, very interesting. But, like, from that aspect and from that transformation of my brain, I started transmuting, like, oh, shit, I'm way brave. I'm not, like, not worthy. I'm actually more worthy because I'm way more brave. And so I started revising and reframing it. What? Transmuting it, alchemizing the negative into positive. I used it for my benefit. Okay. And so you could start to see this type of stuff. You could start to be like, oh, so the reason why I was poor and all of the lessons why I was poor was also leading me to when I'm rich. I know how to, I know how to help people who are in those types of situations, but also I know how to, get out of it, how I know how to be better with it, how I know to be better with my money, how I know to not act like entitled or act prideful or act like the world fucking owes me or da-da-da-da, but like truly actually deserving it, truly working for it and deserving it. Also, sexual transmutation is semen retention, celibacy. Okay, so as you start to hold onto your semen, as you start to do this, that will cultivate Jing energy, and you'll cultivate a lot of Jing energy, and then eventually that will just, heat rises. So heat rises. As that Jing energy rises, it becomes Qi. Qi is energy that you can use. So you'll start to feel a potency like, whoa, I could just like live. I don't need as much sleep. Gains come easy. All this type of stuff comes easy. Okay, and then as that tends to up level, that goes into consciousness, which is Shin. Okay, we were already just talking about this. That will start to cultivate into that circle. Okay, it's a very small circle, so it's a big circle, medium circle, small circle. Okay, and so as you try to as you keep filling up that cup also overflows. This is way more powerful. This is like more powerful fluid than this down here. Okay, just so you guys know. So as you start to use that transmutation, you start to fill up that cup, you also experience higher vibrational realities. You start to, have ultraviolet realities and more positive realities and more synchronistic, serendipitous realities, things that just happen for you, all these things like this. Okay, so with Think and Grow Rich, now it's also thinking rich. So starting to think abundantly, having better mindsets, having better mentality, having better emotionality, brain and heart coherence, having a better assumptive language, having a better assumptive mind, having a better attractive mind, having a growth mindset, having a growth thinking. Think and grow rich. Think and grow rich. So having a better growth mindset, having a better thinking better about your growth. Thinking better about your growth. That is an abundant way of think and grow rich. Then you can also see the intercorrelation of Napoleon Hill where it's the same thing with your physical energy. So by going to the gym and moving, by going to the gym and building energy, you're also giving yourself energy to think. You're giving yourself energy to relax. You're giving yourself energy for the day. By moving, you are also allowing yourself to move more. Okay? By moving, you are also allowing yourself to move more. As much as you might be sore. But moving attracts moving. Like attracts like. Laziness attracts laziness. Sloth attracts sloth. Dislike attracts dislike, just like attracts like. Okay? Assumption attracts assumption. When you assume that you're already in an amazing relationship, the amazing relationship is here. That is the big cultivation. That is the big secret. Okay? That is the big secret. Most people have the secret of the law of attraction, like attracts like, but then they still don't focus on the negative either. You have to focus on the positive and then assume the positive as if it is happening and be as if it is happening. My gosh. Bruh. These things always like try to make me do these things and shit. So ultimately, guys, sexual transmutation is transforming negative energy or even just heavier dense energy, heavier light energy into lighter light energy. Okay, so there's a dark feather and there's a light feather. You guys know what I'm saying? There's a crow feather and there's a dove feather. You see what I'm saying? So one's a heavier, more dense one, and then one is a lighter one. Okay, and then this is also the same with vibration. So there's heavier vibrations, there's lighter vibrations, there's heavier realities, denser densities, denser dimensions, and there's lighter density dimensions. There's lighter density densities, and that is based on what this is exactly what I coined. I coined this. Okay, the weight and lightness of light separation and unification. Okay, so it's the weight of light separation, the weight of light separation and unification. That's really what it is. So each light spectrum has a specific weight or lack thereof. So if you climb the ultraviolet, it's going to be a lighter light. Okay, when you go into the infrared, it's going to be a heavier light. It's going to be a more weighed down light, weight of light unification. You guys can see that. So there's that intercorrelation to it as well. And this is connected with the tree of life. This is connected with the menstrual cycles, the menstrual cycles. You can see the intercorrelation between all of these things in Think and Grow Rich and sexual transmutation by transforming sexual fluid into chi, and then chi into shin, which is consciousness. What is right consciousness? It's righteousness. Righteousness is right consciousness. So by living right, by living in celibacy, by living in brahmacharya, by living in semen retention, same with women too, not releasing fluids. And I'm not saying, like, obviously you're going to go through different fluid exchanges based on each quarter of your menstrual cycle, each phase of your menstrual cycle, your menstrual cycle, okay, the feminine cycle. But also, if you are not releasing that fluid, okay, if you're not flicking, then ultimately that will literally help you. That will literally help you, because then that will start to build more chi, that will start to build more attraction, that will actually go into your potency. And then there's also things that by holding on to these things for a long period of time, once you cycled the sacred secretion like 8 times, there's like a purity. 9 times a purity, 10 times a purity. There's that big cultivation that most people do not speak on brahmacharya and celibacy, and I want to video it because sometimes it's hard for people to remember. But as you continuously stay on it, you are healing your body. You're filling up this small cup up here, which is the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail, it's a cup, okay? It's a, oh my gosh, but ultimately it's a cup, okay? It's a goblet, the goblet of fire. It's a goblet, and as you fill up that goblet, it overflows, and that overflowing is your realities, is your experience, is positivity, so many different things like this. So that's pretty much it. Sexual transmutation, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. That's the way that I perceive sexual transmutation, but it's also doing breath work, cultivating breath work with transmutation. You can check out those videos in my YouTube. I already talked about that. That's why I didn't get into that. I got more into like that, the fluids, the physicality, and the emotions, and the endocrine system, and the chemicals, and the nervous system, and all that type of stuff, and then the mindsets, because doing breath work is how you transmute. Doing breath work is how you transmute. Meditation is how you transmute. 10 minutes of meditation can turn the brain from infrared to ultraviolet in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes. Okay, there's studies on this. Okay, 20 minutes, 2 hours, significantly staying in those gamma ultraviolet brainwave states for long periods of time. As you do this more and more, you're filling up your cup with more ultraviolet. You stay in ultraviolet. You experience ultraviolet continuously. Now, breath work, breath of fire, alternate nostril breathing, Ida Pingala breathing, alternate nostril breathing. Wim Hof, 5-7-8, so 5 inhale, 7 hold, 8 exhale, and then also breath of fire, Wim Hof, alternate nostril breathing. Those are my 3 favorite, and I breathe to music, so I'll play on some positive music that I love, okay, and it'll have a beat or whatever, and I'll do some breath work based on how the beat is. I'll turn it up loud and I'll do some breath work, so I don't hear myself breathe, okay, I don't hear myself mess up, but I'm also in synchronization with the beat, and it really does get the energy flowing. And then also you add this with sexual transmutation, celibacy, and all this type of stuff, and that will help you move that Jing energy into Chi, and then you'll start to feel like you have a lot more energy. Go to the gym, cultivate more movement. Movement attracts movement. Chi attracts Chi, and then you can cultivate that also into consciousness, and you can transmute that into right consciousness, righteousness. Peace, much love. Namaste. Talk to you guys soon. I will see you guys in the next one. All right, guys, I am closing out. What about dancing? Yeah, that's a fantastic thing. That's movement. That's Chi. That's Tai Chi. It's martial arts. Dancing is martial arts. A lot of martial artists literally learn how to dance. Even like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like he literally, like, where he's just like, he's just like this, and he's just like, yeah, he actually had to learn how to move like fluidly through space. He had to learn how to stretch, a multitude of things, and he would go to like a specific mentor. She was a dancer. This is exactly what I say. Like, even the people who you think don't have mentors. So don't be so fucking into yourself, so self-sabotaging, self-righteous that you don't need a mentor. Like, I get a lot of people who, when I'm teaching people, and they'll reach out to me. They'll be a warm lead, and they'll be like, what is this? What is this? Oh, never mind. I don't need a mentor. Da, 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 da. It's like, bro, everybody needs a mentor. I have like 8 mentors, and I'm significantly far ahead of you. So like, you need to like get to the point where you need to get out of that way of mindset, okay? Because you think that you don't need help, or you think that, oh, I'm good enough without people, which is like, you might be in the paradigms that you're in, or the dimensions that you're in, but what about the dimensions that you're not in, that you're not succeeding in? Or when people are like, oh, I can't afford it, but I don't need a mentor. It's like, well, clearly you need a financial mentor. They said, I can't afford it, but I also don't need a mentor. I can't afford it, but I don't need a mentor. You need a financial mentor. And I can help you pull a lot of financial loops. I know a lot of people who are in the financial game. I know a lot of people who will make you a lot of money, multiple streams of income. I know so many people, including myself, cultivating this to a day-by-day basis. Is this a flex on you? No, it's not. I'm just saying that, like, don't be under the illusion of your own spell that you say, like, oh, I don't need help. Like, I still need help, and I still find help. And obviously my people might be like, I might meet bigger people, or I might meet more people who are check marked and other people like this, but that's also because of the path that I've already walked. I've already recorded the 1,000 videos. Okay, that's you taking 1,000 pictures on Snapchat. There's a difference. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's like the whole mindset that I've really started bringing to people, and that's not really a flex at all. It's more just like, it's a mindset. Like, I humble myself, and I think it's always important that all of us humble ourselves, so then we can truly grow and exponentially expand our lives. That's pretty much it. That's my conclusion. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to text me. I'll probably jump on another live. Right now it's 11:30 a.m. where I'm at, so I'll probably jump on a live around 2:30 p.m. So in about 3 hours. So if you guys are ready, on 3 hours in TikTok, I'm going to be jumping on another hour and a half live like this. Peace, much love, namaste.